All right, week 5, we got the Saints versus the Chiefs. So one of the things I find interesting about this is I think everyone in anyone who makes odds pretty much just says, you can't bet against Kansas City, you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, and I think that shows up as a bias here. I think it's especially amplified when they're playing at Kansas City. The model is not picking Kansas City at all. And with a 5 point spread, and we'll see how that moves. So I'm doing this Tuesday night, but I'm going to take the Saints, not because I think the Saints are going to win necessarily. The model really does have it being right around 50-50. So whenever you see 56-43, what that's really saying is I could run this again. It could be 52-48. Probably wouldn't flip flop, but it's basically going to be like it's going to be a close game. And what it's really saying is that 5 point spread is bias for Patrick Mahomes at KC. Now we all know Patrick Mahomes. I really do think that he is probably going to be one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, a generational type talent, and he wins football games. He is undefeated. And but one thing is, when you look at these, they are not blowing people away. Okay, they just aren't. So when you look over here at the right, and by the way, my cursor's not working all that great, and I'm not working with the mouse right now. When you look at their wins, I don't think that they're beating the point spread in most cases. They are winning, but they're not blowing people away. They don't. Travis Kelce is not the normal Travis Kelce right now. Probably getting a little bit too much of that Taylor Swift uh, sickness, if there is such a thing. There's something that's distracting that team. Winning Super Bowls does that to you. And but Patrick Mahomes, I think, looks great. But the rest of the team, I think, looks like a mediocre football team. But I would also say that the Chiefs have a way of starting mediocre and moving their way out. New Orleans looked unstoppable, games 1 and 2. Of course, they're playing the Panthers. I think most high school teams could look pretty good against the Panthers right now, or at least up until they switched out the quarterback to the backup. But they did beat what often, Dallas. Dallas should be good. I don't know why they're not. But then they lost to a mediocre Eagles team, a close one. Weren't able to put up points, and then they played well. They played well enough to win against Atlanta, and they lost a close one. That was a good game. So with that, the model is basically saying, hey, it should be close one, 24-21, and when you look at uh, uh, Kansas City hasn't put up more than 30 this year. 27 is their high. So if New Orleans is able to put up right around that 24 mark, and Kansas City wins 30-24, you know you're in that ballpark. So it depends on what kind of game you get. So yeah, 30-24 you lose in 5, but if they're putting up that that upper mark there, which case, you could very well have you could easily have a 1.5 point or 1 point game for Kansas City late in the game. And that outcome actually would not surprise me. I think Kansas City is excellent pulling out games. I think they're very poor about blowing out their opponents. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the stats are. So not a whole lot really jumps out at me here. So if we look at the upper left, what we really see is pretty comparable numbers in terms of that balance. Definitely see a little bit higher numbers over here in the passing game and the running game for Kansas City. But then when we come over here to the right, what I also see are turnovers. Patrick Mahomes is such a good quarterback. He thinks he can throw the ball anywhere on the field and make plays. And for the most part, I think he can. But every now and again, that ball just he's throwing it into too much coverage. It's getting picked off, and in the NFL, you just can't do that. And so I think that's going to bite him in the butt. It certainly is going to. They're not winning by. They're not dominating so much that they can get by regularly turning the ball over. Kansas City is explosive, but again, all those things are going to come at a cost. So it'll be interesting to see how Kansas or how New Orleans plays their defense, see how their offense comes out, see if they're able to maintain the ball, keep it out of that's the best defense against Patrick Mahomes. Keep it out of his hands, and when he gets the ball, confuse him and go for those turnovers and give your offense every opportunity to put the ball in. Granted, that's always going to be the strategy. But when you have a player that's really going to take those chances, I think that leaves a lot open to the defense to make him make those passes. And I just don't think that he's got the receiving core that he needs to be able to reliably do that as much as he would like to do. So if you like what you listen to, click like and subscribe. I'm trying to get subscribers this year. So if you got questions, drop me a note. Thank you.